an assignment to teach you about Photoshop actions. Actions are pre-recorded steps that people have done for you and have sold in order to make like really interesting different looks to your photography and your images in Photoshop. So you can buy these, you can get these for free, and you can make your own. I am going to give you some that I have purchased before. Some are really new, like the Tiny Dancer one, and I think the Clean Essentials are both brand new and they involve AI as well. Whereas some of the others here are a little bit older, but they should, I'm hoping, still work very well. Not quite sure about this one. I have also given you some pictures down below to try them on. So the first thing I'd like you to do is please make sure that you download everything in this section. Once you have downloaded that, you're going to go into Photoshop and you can open one of the pictures up. And if you go to Window, Actions, it will, I just closed it because I already had it open. You will get this panel that pops up. So these are actions that I have already preloaded, but it's really easy to load your actions. You're going to go to the little box right here in the corner. You're going to go to Load Actions, and then you are going to download the ones that that you got from me. Once you've done that, the folders are probably all going to be open like this when you get them. And there are a lot of different actions inside of each one. My suggestion is to go right here. Don't click on these, whatever you do. Don't click on these, whatever you do. The only thing you're going to click on is these little arrow symbols right here to close up the folders so that it's easier for you to go through. So if I'm going right now to this one, I can also, if I can't see all of them, I can open it like this. So what you do is, first of all, you have to have a photo that has already been flattened. So if you were doing your work and you're working on something that you had layers on, first you would go and you would save your work as a Photoshop file. And you would make sure that you've got it saved as a Photoshop file first. Then you would layer and flatten your image, and then you would save that as a new name, and you would save it instead of a Photoshop file, you would save it as a JPEG. So once you've got your JPEG and you've got your flattened image, then you can use the actions. These get really messy if you try to use them with layers. So the actions are the last thing that you do after you've done your best job on putting everything together in the first place. So by using your color balancing, your hue saturation, your brightness and contrast, you're using all those things first before you use your actions, and then the actions are going to work better. So if you click on an action, a lot of this is experimentation. So if you click on one right here, all you do is go to the play right here. And sometimes it does take a second for it to work because it's going through lots of things. And then you can use the eye right here and you can turn it on and see what it was like before and after. And in this one, it is called like color base. And you can see that this one brightens up the photo significantly, actually. And it makes it like a very nice neutral color base. And this can be really helpful if you did have like some problems with blending your images using these things before. The actions can really start help like meld everything together again. And then if you don't like it, then all you do is you make sure that you're selecting this layer and then just hit delete, or you can hit the trash can right here. and then you're going to get rid of groups and contents. You can layer actions on top of each other. So like here's one, let's do this, soft sunlight, and you'll see the effect it gives. And then I could go and I'm going to click on this image again, and now I'm going to try beachy purple, and I'm going to do that as well. And you can see that if I take this one off, so this is what it looks like with this one. This is what it looks like with this one. And this is the two together. And these are what the explanation that I wrote in the assignment is like. If you start combining different actions together, that's kind of like considered a recipe in Photoshop. Some artists like to copy down their recipes, and this can give you a really consistent look amongst all your photos. So say you're a photographer and you want all of your edited photos to look the same for your client, then you would write down your recipe and you would run the same actions for each photo, and then you would get a really consistent look throughout. Now you can see right here that each of these have a white box beside them. If you click the white box, not anything else but the white box, then you can go over to your paintbrush. If you use a black brush and you can change the opacity, I would always keep it at like not hard at all, or it will look really unnatural. And I can just go over. If I want to make the brush bigger or smaller, I can use my bracket keys. And the black brush will actually start erasing what the action did. So say I wanted all of it to have color like the other action except for this area, then I can go over. Obviously, I would probably do a better job and use a small brush to do this, but I can remove what that action did in that one spot without affecting the other parts. Now, say I messed up and I didn't like that, I can go to the white brush and I can just paint that action back on again. And anytime you have a white box for what is called your adjustment layers, like these are all adjustments layers, anytime you've got this white box, you can use a black brush or a white brush in order to add or get rid of the action. The other thing you can do is if you find an action is just too strong and you're not really liking what it's looking like, you can also go to the opacity and you can reduce the amount of action that is on it in order to get kind of the look that you want. And you can see there are so many that you can do. Some of these are brushes, so I'm going to get rid of these right now. If I use one of the brushes, again, if I use a white brush, well, first I'm going to run it. You can see this square. So yes, some of these can be, if this is a black square, that means that the action has not been applied across the whole thing and you brush it on. So in that case, I would use my white brush to add. And then this says that it is a cool green. I'm not really seeing it. That's kind of weird. Huh. Yeah, I'm not really seeing a cool green out of this. Let's try the sand brush and see how that works. Some of them, depending on your photo too, there we go. You can see that you can paint on things. So I'm gonna undo that. But say like maybe I wanted a little bit of like color in the sky, then I can paint that on for an artistic effect as well. And so what I want you to do is, for the class, I would like you to go through the actions in the folders and simply try them out on different pictures. So like you can do this one, and then I want you to be creative and see what kind of effects you can get. There are some like this wet plate one. This gives like very old kind of photo looks. So that is terrible. But then I could go and do something like that and reduce the opacity. But I didn't really like that. Um, and then you can see, yeah, it gives more of an old fashioned photography look for these. And you can just go around and play with them. Some of them have things that are specific. There you go, like if you wanted a really different look. Some of them have specific parts where, like, they are for faces or eyes that you can put them on. Some of them are for color, for adding color with the brushes, and some of them are overall. So I would like you to please spend the class experimenting with these. I would like you to try them on each of the photos that was given to you. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I would like you to try different actions on each one and artistically enhance them so they look different than the original photo, that they are enhanced, but they're still done in like a decent, natural way. Something that would, for example, be appealing to somebody to buy. So you haven't gone overboard with any of them. I can still see the darks, the mediums, and the highlights. Uh, and I can see that you've done some obvious like different actions with them. When you're done, if you could please just add all five for your I guess submitting, and then you will be done the actions.